So you are probably expecting a film about a problem. Well, you would be right, kind of. This is a story of how people like you, me, and companies around have put solutions to this problem. This is a story of how a community closed the gap.
You know, working with hungry learners is a challenge because if you can check this community, you can, by mere look into this village, you can see that it's a very, very rural area.
This area that we are has been identified as a poverty nodal point by government.
I don't think we have any idea the reality here. I mean, we have over 100 families here which during the time of the lockdown were in dire need of food.
If I remember correctly, they have about 40% of the kids are sort of without parents, and some of them are actually, you know, child-run households. Some of the kids are staying with other people, but they're all orphans.
In Partners for Possibility, school principals are partnered with business leaders. In this specific case, we had 4 performers as business leaders, and then people from the community, other business leaders, to partner with the schools as well. The nice thing about that is the Partners for Possibility program is a year-long development program, leadership development program, with the purpose of putting the school as the center of the community. We got the opportunity from the Hub side to develop schools in such a way that we can use them as a platform to do some of our other work in the communities. My name is Karin Tota, and I'm actually working as a consultant for the Hoedspruit Hub. I'm basically doing the business management and the business coordination and looking for new ways of doing the work that we are doing. When COVID starts, we quickly realized that there was a lot of vulnerable children in the schools, or we always knew it. About 40% of the children in the schools are orphans and living mostly in child-headed homes. So we knew that must be a disaster, because the school feeding schemes was most of the time their only meal a day. So the first thing that we started with was to contact the school principals and say, okay, go and identify your most vulnerable children. And then we reach out to the community to assist, to give, during the hard lockdown, we gave them food parcels.
I think we just got a call from Karin and other business leaders who say, identify if you have got kids that you know that sometimes they sleep on an empty stomach. And unfortunately, in our school and most of the schools, I believe, we've got a list of vulnerable learners that we know. Those that do not have parents, some have got parents, but obviously some come from dysfunctional families.
We were requested to identify the learners in need. Then we were able to distribute those food parcels to those families in need.
The PfP came to our rescue. They provide us with food parcels. They provide us with vegetables. They provide us with fruits. And all the parents and learners were so happy to be relieved at that time of pandemic.
So the involvement of Hoedspruit Hub in the PfP program, number one, obviously they administered it, they were the group leaders, they started the whole program in Hoedspruit, but Hoedspruit Hub is also, they are very much a knowledge-based business or social enterprise, and they form leadership and they form growing communities within business. And I think that's the perfect match for the two of them. And I think in a way, they actually took PfP to another level in a rural setting. Rural settings are very different to like your big cities rural, if I can call it that. It's two completely different things, and they have actually helped to transition that change because it's completely different.
We fed about 800 children every 10 days with food parcels for 5-6 weeks, but we very soon realized that that was not sustainable, and we realized that we need to keep on substituting the school feeding programs because that is a very basic program.
But how can we assist in the feeding schemes, especially with the department that sometimes closed it down during the pandemic, and what's the opportunity? So that's where the gardens come from a problem-solving process to see how can we assist them with that. So the moment that we empower the school governing bodies to do their own problem-solving, and they can do it, the more and the better they can do it, and the better they can provide and look after the people in the community, the children in the community. There's going to be lots of challenges in future, and the better they are in problem solving, the more they will be able to cope with the challenging surroundings.
We got some money from Flanders and from through IDC to start a mandala garden that is a permaculture fruit and vegetable garden for each school, and then we applied to Nedbank WWF to the Green Fund to get some money to put in irrigation for each school, and the Hoedspruit Hub is doing follow-up trainings every month and visit. And then the Kruger-Tucanian environmental mentors are also involved. And at this stage, it's going very, very well with the gardens.
To make the mandala garden work, it's just a question for us as farmers. It's a small project for us. It's just supply some irrigation equipment. Most of the stuff is already here. It's just a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of equipment you have to add to the project, and then it's running for itself.
So the mandala garden lent itself out because it's very water efficient in the way that it's structured, in its circular structure. The water, almost runs through the whole garden. And it retains the water very well, so you don't lose any. So once you've watered the garden, it all stays in these pathways in between the mounds. And along with that came, the skills of Sylvester, who consults to the hub and who came out to the schools and taught them how to manage this garden, what to plant, putting planting schedules together, which is crucial. And then on top of that, funding came through, which the hub really drove, and that funding allowed us to implement actual irrigation into these gardens. As the schools are so understaffed already, and the people that will be doing the work to look after these gardens are people that would probably also need to give class. We've taken that burden off, where it's as simple as opening the tap and irrigating the garden. And so when people are willing to work so hard, there's nothing nicer than lightening the load of it.
The momentum changed when we started to solve a problem, because the moment that we start with finding out which children are hungry, the mood changed from almost depression to, okay, I've got something to do. I can make a difference, even though the circumstances is whatever it is, and even though we don't know what it's going to be tomorrow. Today I can make a a difference. I can feed a child. I can deliver learning material to children. I know what is going on in my school community. I think that changed the mood.